Lin didn't delay any longer. He quickly took out the 4 scrolls from the box and slowly opened them. The intricate hexagram runes engraved on the scrolls immediately caught Lin's attention. Magic, or rather, the runes commonly used in the dark world for summoning and contracts. Through similar runes, one could make temporary contracts with creatures from the dark or other worlds. These 4 scrolls were evidently specified for this purpose. Without further ado, Lin quickly took out a feather pen and ink, sat at the counter, and swiftly wrote the first letter. Dear Xiao, I am your dentist, Lin. Do you remember me? Not long ago, you became the first lifetime member of our store, for which I feel honored and joyful. You are a very friendly and lovely girl. Ever since you left, I have been thinking about you day and night, hoping for your return. It has even affected my sleep, and I've lost quite a few pounds. This reminds me of that beautiful night. Because it is difficult to suppress my longing for you, I decided to write you a letter today. If I don't, I feel like I won't be able to go on. You are like a bright moonlight in my heart, truly unforgettable. So, can you accept my invitation? I especially invite you to come to Seoul Alley tomorrow for a gathering, and I have prepared a sumptuous feast for you. Please don't refuse. Your dentist, Mr. Lin, who misses your visit. After finishing, Lin sealed it with wax. Then, he bit his finger, letting the fresh blood drop onto the rune on the scroll, and wrote his name on it. Instantly, under Lin's gaze, his fresh blood began to flow slowly along the rune. And in the next moment, the rune slowly lit up with a blood-red light. The air suddenly fluctuated time and time again. In an instant, the rune burst out with a beam of light, and within that light, 2 creatures the size of a person gradually appeared. One had a streamlined body, resembling a cheetah, but covered in intricate red runes. Its body constantly shimmered, as if it could disappear at any moment. The other was a giant turtle with moss covering its shell. The head of the turtle looked ferocious and ugly. Lawful neutral. Fast running. A peculiar creature wandering in the void and abyss. In open areas, when you look up at the sky and see a large group of meteors swiftly passing, don't doubt it. They may not be meteors, but a group of void leaper beasts shuttling through the void. The Turtle King dormant in the rotting land swamp. They are gentle and sluggish, spending most of their lives in deep sleep. Thousands or even tens of thousands of years have little meaning to them. Although most rotting land turtles are unwilling to leave the swamp, there are always some lone individuals looking for a living in the outside world, such as delivery. Seeing these 2 mythical creatures, Lin's eyes lit up. Are you my couriers? Lin greeted with a smile. The Void Leaper beast let out a whistling sound, giving a response. The rotting land Turtle King slowly turned its turtle head and, in a cumbersome manner, opened its mouth, saying, I. Lin blinked. Time passed slowly. Lin opened his mouth, holding his breath. After a minute, envelope. There were. After saying this, the Turtle King had an indescribable slow smile on its face. Lin was almost breathless. He wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and handed the letter to the Turtle King solemnly, saying, It's up to you now. I heard from your master that all you need is a bit of the recipient's body tissue or aura to quickly locate the target and deliver the letter to them. Lin reached into his pocket and took out a small piece of tooth debris he had scraped off the divine spear not long ago. It's called Xiao. Remember this aura, and make sure to deliver the letter to her as soon as possible. The Turtle King sniffed it. Then, at an indescribable speed, it extended its turtle head and slowly opened its mouth, grabbing the letter. Good. Then, under Lin's heart attack gaze, it took 10 minutes to slowly reach its back. Click. Its back slowly opened a small door. Lin was finally anxious. He quickly grabbed the letter and, at an unimaginable speed, stuffed it into the dark compartment behind its turtle shell, closing it with a snap. The Turtle King slowly opened its mouth, grinning. It gradually moved its limbs, advancing towards the door with microscopic speed. Lin's temples throbbed frantically. He ignored it, letting it go first, and then his gaze fell on the Void Leaper beast next to it, eager to try. I know your speed is the fastest in the courier world. Lin hadn't finished his words. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. The Void Leaper beast in front of Lin disappeared in an instant, then reappeared, squatting in front of Lin, sticking out its tongue playfully. Howl. It raised its head with a long howl. Then, it placed a small piece of stone in front of Lin. Lin was startled and said, This is a fragment of a meteorite. Are you saying that you just went to the outer void in that short time? The Void Leaper beast proudly stuck out its tongue. Lin took a deep breath, closed his eyes, patted its dog-like head, and said, Fast. Indeed fast. But, Lin pointed at the fresh blood spraying out of its skull at an unimaginable speed, urgently saying, Your skull is cracking open. Be careful of the road when you speed up. It's fast, yes, but if you kill yourself right after leaving. Lin knew that these 2 messengers were not reliable at all. No way. They must be combined. Lin immediately turned his head and looked at the Turtle King, which had already stretched out 10 centimeters with great effort. A few minutes later, Lin clapped his hands, satisfied, looking at the Void Leaper beast that he had forcibly squeezed into the Turtle King's shell. The principle was actually very simple. The Turtle King's shell still had large gaps, and the Void Leaper beast belonged to the type of creature whose body was soft and easy to burst. Squeeze it into the turtle shell and pull out its limbs from the 4 openings. In a sense, they had achieved a fusion evolution. Void Leaper Turtle. It combined the speed of the Void Leaper beast and the defense of the Turtle King. Although the speed would definitely decrease due to increased load, the defense had been greatly improved. No longer afraid of the Void Leaper beast accidentally killing itself in midair. However, for safety reasons, Lin added some additional safeguards. He welded shut the extra spaces in the 4 openings. This way, there was no need to worry about the Void Leaper beast's speed being too fast, shaking off the Turtle King. Depart. Lin patted the heads of the 2 beings that had squeezed out of the turtle shell and said seriously, Turtle, you are responsible for safely delivering the letter to the recipient, and Dog, you are responsible for quickly delivering the turtle to the recipient's destination. I believe that after you 2 merge, you will become a refreshing force in the messenger world. Snap. Lin slapped the turtle shell and shouted, Depart. Boom. Almost in an instant, the wall was directly blasted open by the Void Leaper turtle, disappearing into the black mist at an unimaginable speed. Lin didn't waste any time. He immediately sat down, took up the feather pen seriously, and began writing the second letter. Dear teacher, I am your apprentice Lin. I can't make it, I'm going to die. My body is bleeding, brain matter is overflowing, I'm about to split open. Although I received your warning before, but too strong, they are really too strong. Those wicked guys have already smashed our store, burned our sign, and beaten your favorite disciple. Teacher, the student is at the end of his life, but the student still remembers your instructions before leaving. The student didn't take care of the store, the student disappointed you, but before dying, the student still wants to know, are you still alive? This messenger was hired by the disciple with the last bit of strength and little money. The student doesn't know if he can successfully deliver the letter, but the student still wants to say, a day as a teacher, a lifetime as a father, in the coming year, please. Make sure to burn those 3 incense sticks for your student. Your disciple, Lin, who is still on your mind even at the brink of death. Lin was moved to tears by himself. He quickly sealed the letter and then immediately created the second Void Leaper turtle using the same method. A slap on the turtle shell. The messenger swiftly rushed away. Lin looked solemnly at the door and said, now it depends on whether they can make it in time. Several hours later, in a massive temple group on the outskirts, a highly prestigious event was taking place. This was the territory of one of the 72 great kings of the Dark World, the Unicorn Demon King. Led by him, the Unicorn Evil Ghost tribe was renowned throughout the various worlds in the abyss. There was no other reason than that the strength of a king-level powerhouse was a terrifying existence second only to the source-level creatures in the Dark World. And precisely because of this, the Unicorn Evil Ghost tribe flourished in the Dark World. Although his strength was at the bottom among the 72 great kings, even the high-ranking kings dared not casually provoke this tribe. All high-level creatures knew that the 3 source-level bounty hunters who roamed the entire Dark World had been close friends with him during their lifetime. And exactly because of this, the Unicorn Evil Ghost tribe had become one of the frontline forces in the Dark World. Titan brother, it's really surprising and pleasant that you could accept my brother's invitation to come together. I'm overjoyed. The robust Unicorn Demon King stood up, raising a giant cup that was the size of 2 of him, laughing towards the 3 enormous skulls on the main seat of the temple. He tilted his head back, pouring the bucket of blood wine into his mouth. And around, numerous Unicorn Evil Ghosts were carrying a large number of fresh corpses, respectfully and fanatically pouring blood into containers in front of the 3 bounty hunters. These were freshly slaughtered blood sacrifices. And if Lin were here, he would surely recognize at a glance that the slightly petite one among the 3 large skulls on the main seat was the small one who had seen him for dental treatment before. Small opened its huge mouth, revealing a row of shiny teeth, dazzling the Unicorn Evil Ghosts below. So shiny, the Unicorn Demon King exclaimed, giving a thumbs up to Small. I didn't expect my niece to become even more shiny and charming than before. Besides Small, a significantly larger female skull poured out countless tentacles from its mouth, ferociously engulfing the fresh corpses into the container in front of the 3 bounty hunters. It chewed forcefully. It revealed a ferocious smile, and beams of light flickered in its chaotic and clear eyes. and in the central seat, the largest skull remained silent, its eyes more chaotic than the other two, occasionally showing intense malice. Only in very rare moments would a trace of clarity flash through its chaotic gaze, and if it weren't for that trace of clarity suppressing the surrounding powerful and chaotic aura, the evil and frenzied aura it emitted alone would have been enough to collapse the surrounding unicorn evil ghosts. Sister-in-law, is Big Brother feeling better now? The unicorn demon king asked cautiously. The massive female skull laughed hideously. When his head was cut off, malicious intent and curses allowed him to survive in this dark world. He is always thinking of going up. Countless terrifying tentacles instantly shot out from the titan's skull's neck, wrapping around the female skull's cheek, tearing and attacking continuously. I did not lose. It's you, you vicious woman. You brought the curse. The chunks of flesh on the female head's face were torn off by it, but her smile became even more vivid and malicious. Ha ha ha, you useless god, you can't beat me, you can only vent your anger on your own woman. Ha ha. If it weren't for the curse, hee, you would be just a pile of bones now. The chaotic and terrifying tearing and frenzied attacks continued for more than 10 minutes. All the unicorns in the temple were horrified, shivering uncontrollably, until the clarity in its eyes gradually balanced with the chaos. It finally quieted down slowly. The unicorn king couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. If his elder brother had gone berserk at this moment, their entire clan would probably face a catastrophe. Big brother, big sister-in-law, and niece, you can stay here peacefully these days. I, as your younger brother, will offer you a large amount of fresh blood food every day to welcome and cleanse you. Little extended its tentacles, rolled up a high-ranking unicorn on the ground, and played with it like a plush toy. Nearer. Yes, the unicorn with a pale face hurriedly picked up a huge mirror, not daring to move. Little opened its mouth, looking at the bright and beautiful teeth in the mirror, starting to admire itself again. This had been the routine of this headhunter for the past few days. As for the reason, it was not clear yet. Satisfied with food and drink, the unicorn king also drank to the point of being drunk. However, just as he was about to stand up to give a speech, suddenly, his gaze flashed, and all the intoxication disappeared. Who's there, sneaking around, daring to offend my territory? In an instant, he punched through the void, swiftly extending his hand and grabbing a giant turtle from the void. Crackle. His claws in the turtle shell kept intersecting, creating intense sparks. What is this? A messenger. The unicorn king frowned. As a king-level existence, he naturally had heard of the high-security messenger turtles. What happened? The female head turned its gaze, looking at the unicorn king. The unicorn king immediately said, "It's a void messenger, probably for me. I'll deal with it right away." Without saying a word, he immediately connected his consciousness to the messenger turtle in his hand. Since someone used a messenger turtle, it should have been sent a few hundred or 1,000 years ago. Was it an old friend? He was a bit puzzled, but the next moment, after receiving the information from the messenger turtle, he was stunned and said, "Not for me." Then he furrowed his brow and turned to look at the unicorn demons below, shouting, "Who called little? Get the hell out." But as soon as he finished speaking, a voice came from the high platform behind him, and called, little. Squeak. The unicorn king shivered. He subconsciously turned his head, looking at the headhunter admiring its shiny teeth. Then he turned his gaze to the female head, looking bewildered. Obviously, he didn't think his elder sister-in-law would give such a weird name to their daughter. Moreover, it didn't seem like a serious name. It sounded more like a pet name for a cat or a dog. He felt a bit choked. The female head turned its head, creaking, and part of its gaze was taken over by clarity, saying, "Daughter has a name." Little turned its head, showing its teeth. Then, the shiny teeth flashed a light. The female head's gaze immediately melted, and it stuck out its tongue, licking its daughter's face affectionately. Obviously, it was extremely indulgent to its daughter. The unicorn king hesitated, picked up the wax-sealed letter, and felt a strange sensation. Because who would write a letter to a primal-level creature? Most primal beings were chaotic entities, and having a brief moment of clarity was already extremely rare. "Niece, your letter." "Don't know." Words. Little continued to admire its shiny teeth. "Who wrote it?" The female head closed its eyes and asked. The unicorn king thought for a moment, then quickly glanced at the letter and soon captured a name. Lin. He was taken aback. In an instant, the two giant heads pricked up their ears. Little said, "Remember." The unicorn king shivered as he looked at the silent big brother and big sister-in-law on the main platform, then swallowed his saliva, tremblingly saying, "It's from a very friendly and lovely girl. And since you left, I haven't slept well day or night. My mind is full of you. I don't think about tea or food, and I've lost a lot of weight." In an instant, the whole place fell silent. Even the crowd of one-horned evil spirits below were all plunged into a stunned state. Several evil spirits, pouring themselves drinks, had their cups overflowing. Little nodded and said, I also lost 2 pounds. No, the evil spirit king trembled in his heart. The two meanings are different. Niece, you are reluctant to starve due to the loss of your teeth, but this guy in the letter is flirting with you. He's teasing you. The hand holding the letter trembled, and he really hesitated to continue reading. Because it gets even more cheesy later. Read, Little eagerly said. Read, 2 extremely sinister and terrifying voices. The evil spirit king subconsciously raised his head, and suddenly all the hair on his body stood on end. A huge shadow cast down, and he didn't know when his elder brother and sister-in-law's 2 huge heads had appeared in front of him, staring at him. And his elder brother's originally chaotic gaze, at some point, had become clear. But obviously, it was not normal clarity, but a kind more terrifying than chaos. Sweating profusely, he stared at his eyes, feeling the sensation of being targeted by the god of death. Subconsciously, he swallowed a mouthful of saliva, tremblingly continued reading. This makes me think again of the beautiful night we spent together. The hair on the 2 heads in front of the evil spirit king instantly surged like tentacles, scaring the evil spirit king with all his body hair standing on end. Beautiful, the female head maliciously said. The titan head sneered. The evil spirit king shivered and swallowed a mouthful of saliva, tremblingly said, the letter says so. Continue reading. Little shook her entire body with her tentacles. Both heads almost shook at the same time. This pleasant expression. Could it be that their daughter has already read? The 2 heads urged anxiously. The evil spirit king was about to burst. He was really bitter in his heart. Who the hell wrote such a cheesy love letter to his niece at this time? Damn, is this still in front of her parents? He really wanted to give himself a big slap. He should have just glanced at the letter and asked one of his subordinates to read it. Why did he get himself involved in this mess? Now, he had no way out. With a forced smile, he continued, because it is difficult to restrain the longing for you in my heart. So, after thinking about it, I decided to write you a letter today. Because I feel that if I don't write to you, I won't be able to live. He could already hear the terrifying grinding sound of the 2 heads in front of him. Can't live, the titan head roared. You are like a white moonlight in my heart, and I really can't get rid of it. The evil spirit king felt as if the ground had cracked countless fissures. White moonlight in the heart, the female head gnashed her teeth, and her eyes flickered with light. The evil spirit king shivered, holding the letter. So, I want to invite you to meet at the Soul Alley, and I have prepared a big meal for you. Sincerely looking forward to your visit, Mr. Lin N. He recited this damn love letter with extremely fast speed. And under the stage, all the one-horned evil spirits were stunned, their mouths wide open, unable to utter a word. A brief silence. Is it over? The 2 heads asked sinisterly in unison. The evil spirit king, holding the letter, was dumbfounded, saying, It's over. Little swayed her tentacles and said, You miss me so much. Is there also a big meal? Another brief silence. Then, under everyone's stunned gaze, Little, visibly in a good mood, jumped down with a bang, extended a tentacle, and took the letter from the evil spirit king's hand. Then she hopped away cheerfully, saying, Mom and Dad, I'm going. Your daughter is going to have a big meal. In the next moment, the countless one-horned evil spirits under the stage, who had finally reacted, were shocked, their jaws about to drop. What kind of dimensional joke is this? Who the hell is this Lin N? To write such a cheesy and ambiguous love letter in front of someone's parents? Does he even know that this whole family is composed of ancient gods? Finally, the evil spirit king lifted his head and looked at the 2 silent bounty hunters. He already felt that the atmosphere around him was not right. That brother, sister-in-law, I think. Boom. Just as he hadn't finished speaking, the titan head suddenly went mad and roared. Countless tentacles danced wildly in the entire temple, and the entire dome collapsed. Darn it. Taking advantage of my illness, trying to get my daughter, and writing such a cheesy thing. You've gone too far. Calm down. Finally, there's someone who likes our daughter. Old man, you need to calm down. This is abduction of an underage girl. Doom. The entire temple was in chaos. The female head continually restrained the already out-of-control titan head. Let go. Let me kill that bastard who wrote the letter. The female head forcefully dragged her husband, constantly preventing him from going berserk. Old man, calm down. Free love. Parents should not interfere with the affairs of their children. I'm free. This is kidnapping. An underage girl kidnapped. Boom. The entire temple finally collapsed under the strain. Doll courtyard. The glaring red moon hangs high above the tower of the castle. Surrounding the castle is a vast expanse of thorn roses blooming in the mist. Blood-red petals cover the long and silent paths, and the air is filled with mysterious and intermittent songs. Click-clack, click-clack. The flower field. Sounds of footsteps echo repeatedly. In the faint black mist, one after another spider-headed hunters cautiously advance towards the central castle. Prepare for the third assault. Hunter Squad 21 is in position. Requesting orders for the assault. Orders received. Confirmed. Assault. In the eyes of the lead hunter, flashes of red light pass rapidly, and in the next moment, dozens of hunters suddenly rush towards the flower field in the black mist at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, in various directions of the castle, several squads, each composed entirely of hunters, almost simultaneously launch an attack on the doll courtyard. Moving forward, along the way, many damaged hunter corpses are scattered around. It can be seen that they have launched multiple attacks on the doll courtyard before, but none have been successful. The thorns surging along the path are madly cut by the blades in their hands. Information transmission has reached the third area. Target distance, 500 meters. A hunter's eyeball flickers with red light. But just at that moment, they suddenly see, at the end of the misty path ahead, a figure faintly appearing. Their perspective quickly narrows, and they see clearly what that figure looks like. It is an exquisite life-size doll. She looks very strange, with stiff movements, and there is no sense of life in her at all. But she can walk. Yet, in this almost lifelike state, she gives off an indescribable horror. Click, 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 click. The red lights in the eyes of those dozen or so hunters flash intensely. Target analysis. Target identity confirming. Database retrieval. Target identity confirmed. Doll Courtyard's 7th Control Puppeteer, Black String Moon. Extremely strong combat ability. Warning. Target threat level extremely high. Initiate full-scale hunting. Almost in that instant, those dozen or so hunters, at an unimaginable speed, instantly rush towards the gothic doll in the black mist. Countless petals accompany their figures, scattering in the black sky. In almost the blink of an eye, those dozen or so hunters have already appeared beside the gothic doll. Click, 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 click. The sound of gears locking. A strange scene unfolds, as if time has suddenly frozen. The hunters who rush to the doll are suddenly frozen in place. Faintly, under the reflection of the radiant light of the red moon, it can be seen that, at some point, on various joints of their bodies, one after another thin and tough threads have emerged. They are like puppets, frozen in place, body restricted, unable to break through. Warning, body bound, body bound. The hunters struggle hard, but apart from the mechanical sound emanating from their bodies, they cannot move even the slightest. In the flower field, the exquisite gothic doll tilts her head. Clearly visible are the jointed fingers, lightly picking. Puff, one of the hunters suddenly turns around, and the sharp mantis knife on his arm instantly pierces through another hunter's head. Puff, puff, several more piercing sounds. Those hunters, in a theatrical manner, stab each other's heads one by one. Only the last hunter remains. The gothic doll raises her head, like an innocent Lolita, looking at him with her rapidly moving eyeballs. The fine raindrops fall on the black umbrella. The head of the gothic doll suddenly tilts. The neck of the hunter in front of her, in a twisted posture, is instantly twisted by himself. The body crackles and sparks, then falls heavily to the ground. In less than a minute, all the hunters, without exception, are scrapped here. Intruders at the north gate, all eliminated, record 59 seconds. The gothic doll mechanically turns around and reports. At the same time, she hears several other voices with different styles in her ears. Intruders in the southern area, all eliminated, record 3 minutes 51 seconds. Intruders in the northwest area, all eliminated. Minor injuries, need replacement parts. Intruders in the eastern courtyard, in progress, estimated time needed, 5 minutes. String Moon, how come you're so efficient? Did the engineer lady give you new parts? You've already pulled ahead of us by a big margin. Sister String Moon is a cleaning type puppet. Of course, her speed is faster than us. Stop talking nonsense and quickly deal with the battle. We also have to report to the lady. Various voices come through. The gothic doll walks along the path with a black umbrella, step by step towards the direction of the castle. Every step she takes is precisely measured, and the gothic gown flutters slightly in the wind. But just at this moment, she suddenly stops. Her eyes move slightly to the corner of her eyes, as if she discovered something. In an instant, densely packed glass-like threads pierce the nearby space. Buzz, the space instantly tears open, and a peculiar-looking turtle king, controlled by threads, is dragged out of the void in a bizarre upside-down manner. Delivering message. The Turtle King, rarely wide-eyed, says these 3 words at a speed several times faster than usual. The head of the Gothic doll tilts. A few minutes later, inside the castle, Bloodsaw, your letter. In a hall full of gears, a doll lady in gorgeous attire walks in with elegant steps. Her nearly 3-meter body, well-proportioned, exudes an aristocratic aura. If you ignore the height, she's like a medieval noblewoman. On the other side of the hall, Bloodsaw, tall and robust, leans on a mechanical table, his gaze flickering. Around him, one after another doll-sized puppets with button-like eyes are holding various tools, knocking and repairing his huge wounds. A letter, Bloodsaw says heavily, who sent it? The doll lady elegantly sits on a luxurious chair on the opposite side, gently lifting a cup of rich coffee, indifferent. My daughters found it in the courtyard. It was delivered by a void messenger, and the sender's name is Lin N. Do you know him? Bloodsaw is immediately stunned. That's impossible. He stands up laboriously, frowning as he walks towards the table, reaching out to take the letter. Who is he? The doll lady moves her lips. He's a child I adopted 2 years ago. Bloodsaw looks at the letter and says heavily, he has been working as my apprentice at the pharmacy. A few days ago, I realized that the Magic Association might go to the Soul Alley, so I urgently passed on information to him. It seems he managed to escape the hands of the Magic Association. He concentrates for a moment and quickly opens the envelope. But as soon as he sees the twisted words on it, his face changes dramatically. Teacher, I am your apprentice Lin. I can't go on, I'm going to die. My body is bleeding, brain matter is flowing out, I'm about to burst open. His attention immediately focused, and his gaze quickly and seriously moved downward. The more he read, the more apparent the anger in his eyes became. Until he read the last sentence, even at the brink of death, you still remember your disciple Lin, farewell. Even the hand holding the letter visibly trembled. This couldn't be called a letter. It was clearly a farewell letter from his disciple. Damn your demon association. Boom, he roared, punching the floor, sparks flying all over his body, and the ground instantly cracking. He breathed heavily, his eyes bloodshot. His sudden emotional outburst even startled the nearby puppet lady. Bloodsaw, what are you doing? Without a word, Bloodsaw gritted his teeth, quickly got up, and was about to push the door open to leave. Madam, thank you for your hospitality these past 2 days, but I must leave today. If there's a chance in the future, I'll come to repay your kindness. His anger was palpable, but just as he was about to step out of the gate, countless threads swiftly bound his body in place. What are you doing? Your wounds haven't healed, and now you're going out. Aren't you looking for death? The puppet lady squinted, pulling the threads in her hand. Nowadays, there are hunters tracking you everywhere outside. I guarantee that as soon as you step out of my courtyard, you'll be killed by the flesh puppets outside. Bloodsaw, infuriated, tore at the threads controlling him, his face twisted, saying, instead of sitting here waiting for death, I'd rather fight to the death with them. Demon Association. I will make them pay in blood. He roared. One by one, the threads controlling him snapped. It was evident how furious he was. The puppet lady frowned. Bloodsaw, usually calm, had suddenly become so uncontrollable. Obviously, the contents of the letter had stirred his emotions. She suddenly reached out, taking the letter from the ground, and frowned as she read. After a dozen seconds, she finished reading, furrowed her brows, and said, your disciple is. Bloodsaw trembled all over, blood vessels rising one by one, and red liquid flowed from his bloodshot eyes. It's my fault as his teacher. If I had known it was a trap, I should have sent him to a safe place in advance. His eyes seemed to want to burst, his emotions almost out of control. In his mind, the image of his disciple writing this letter flashed instantly. Covered in wounds, limbs incomplete, bleeding incessantly, with a cracked head, he struggled to hold a pen and wrote this final letter to his incompetent teacher with great effort. He saw the 2 dried tear stains on the letter. Clearly, when he wrote this letter, he must have cried bitterly, bleeding and tearing, struggling to write to his unworthy teacher. How pitiful, how helpless. In an instant, the 2 years they spent together flashed in his mind. Although he rarely smiled, except when ordering him around, the bond between teacher and disciple was indelible. Bloodsaw hysterically roared to the sky. Demon Association. Today, you killed my disciple. Tomorrow, I will annihilate you. Bloodsaw and you are irreconcilable. Clap, clap, clap. One by one, the threads binding him snapped. Seeing him about to lose control and rush out in anger, the puppet lady bit her lip, instantly summoning more threads. tightly suppressing him in place. Calm down first. Even if you go out now, you won't solve any problems. Besides, I think there's something wrong with this letter. Bloodsaw struggled angrily to tear the threads controlling him, his face distorted, saying, "That's my disciple's handwriting. There's no way it's fake. Do you think I wouldn't recognize my own silly son's handwriting?" The puppet lady was also anxious, her expression frustrated. Don't let the contents of the letter cloud your judgment. Have you ever seen a dying person write so eloquently and emotionally, punctuating every line with so many dots? A brief silence. The puppet lady rubbed her temples, took a deep breath, and shook the letter in her hand, saying, "Someone who's about to burst open can still write such a sentimental essay for you. Use your brain." She walked over in exasperation, pounding his head with her fist 10 times. Pointing at the letter, she said impatiently, "Look at the words on it, perfectly written. Every dot is round. Does that look like someone on the brink of death? This is obviously written in a calm state. Let's not even mention that. Have you ever seen a dying person?" She flipped the letter over and pointed to the emoticon drawn with a pen. She said impatiently, "And does someone at the brink of death have the strength to draw such a pitiful expression for you?" Bloodsaw stared blankly, unable to utter a word. The puppet lady took a deep breath, canceled the control of the threads on him, leaned back in her chair, and said, "Idiot, just like in the past, your brain made of elmwood hasn't changed. The cells in your head must be dead, probably only muscles are left." Bloodsaw slowly got up, holding the letter in his hand, hesitating. "Are you saying that my disciple was just trying to amuse himself by sending me on a wild goose chase? He actually has nothing wrong." Smack. The puppet lady punched him on the back of his head. She took a deep breath, massaged her temples, and said, "Hopeless idiot, look for yourself." Bloodsaw, still skeptical, reluctantly opened the area channel of the 900th Plaza. But the moment he saw the discussions, his face changed instantly. "It's bad. Something big happened. Uncles and aunties of Johan Alley, don't go out. There are extremely terrifying creatures outside. What's going on these days? Why are there such high-level entities coming here every day? No, I can't stay here any longer. I have to move out quickly. All residents of Johan Alley, close your doors and windows. If possible, go to the basement, hide your breath. Today, whether Johan Alley will be wiped out or not, we can only leave it to fate." The breathing of the bloodsaw became rapid in an instant. Without a second word, he quickly accepted the information from that area. In a moment, a hazy black mist appeared before him. As the scene slowly became clear, he immediately saw that the location in the picture was outside his pharmacy. What is this? He was greatly shocked. In the scene, the Bloodsaw pharmacy was already severely damaged, evidently having experienced a great battle. At this moment, a huge skull, hidden in the black mist, was stopping at the entrance of the Bloodsaw pharmacy, and one after another crimson tentacle was extending toward the inside of the shop, as if searching for food. "Disciple," he roared. This time, he was truly shaken. He didn't see the lackeys of the Mage Association, but he saw something even more terrifying than the Mage Association. In his mind, the image of the dying Lin instantly surfaced, scenes of the dreadful monster devouring him. He heard the crunching sound in his mind, the sound of Lin being chewed by that terrifying creature. Lady Puppet, witnessing this scene, was also shocked and murmured, "Something's not right. I said my disciple is in trouble, and you're giving me this nonsense." The muscles all over Bloodsaw's body swelled up. Without saying a word, his figure disappeared from sight in an instant. Faintly, the sound of a roar could be heard. "Disciple, hold on. Teacher is coming to collect your corpse." Wait. Lady Puppet became anxious and also disconnected. At the same time, the attic of the Bloodsaw pharmacy, Lin, who was sleeping soundly, suddenly felt something soft and sticky poking his face. "Don't mess around." Lin sleepily reached out, grabbed the revolver on the counter, and fired a shot in the direction of the poking. Bang! Then he turned around, closed his eyes, and continued to sleep soundly. The tentacle poking Lin's face instantly froze. Special achievement has a chance to be obtained when launching an attack against an opponent that is impossible to defeat. You gain a permanent bonus, agility +5, intelligence -1, happiness +10. Lin instantly opened his eyes in a daze. In front of the pharmacy, Lin climbed the ladder, wide-eyed, picked the flat shell stuck on Little's head from the ladder, blew on it, and then took out a large plaster from his pocket and stuck it on. "Is this some kind of welcome ritual?" Lin wiped his sweat and said, Let's consider it as one. Little, I didn't expect you to come so soon after I wrote you a letter tonight. I'm really pleasantly surprised, because I saw you miss me, so I came quickly." Lin was extremely moved. Having such a cute and understanding guest is really a wonderful thing. Look at my teeth. Little opened its mouth, showing off a row of white teeth. Its teeth flashed fiercely at Lin. Bright enough. Lin immediately gave a thumbs up and said seriously, really well maintained. Shiny just like before. It seems like Little, you've been taking good care of your teeth. Yes, 3 days. Without eating anything. Well, although it's good to take care of your teeth like this, it's not okay if you don't eat anything. Or how about this? Come to my backyard. I'll make you some pastries to whet your appetite, and then give you a full body care, guaranteeing that besides your teeth, every other part of Little will be exceptionally shiny and charming. How about that? Good. At the same time, outside the ghost lane, dozens of kilometers behind a small hill, vaguely, it could be seen that a huge skull was half hidden behind the hill, holding a giant telescope with tentacles, peering at the direction of the ghost lane from a distance. And behind the hill, the Unicorn Demon King, with hundreds of elite guards guarded behind, not daring to move. Yes, after Little left, they secretly followed from afar all the way. This was his idea because if not, his big brother in a rage state could easily destroy their main base with a casual outburst. Big brother, what happened? Did you see that bastard? The Unicorn Demon King glared. Beside him, the female skull, with a large telescope rolled up, smiled madly and said, he's a handsome boy, just a bit small. Just as she finished speaking, crack, the Titan skull grabbed the telescope and smashed it onto the hill, roaring madly with a frantic sway of its tentacles, destroying the surrounding landscape. Darn it, I'm going to kill him now. Such a tiny race. Even learning to drive big cars. I'll make you drive a big car. Calm down. Don't rush over destroying good things for your daughter. Besides, being smaller is not a big deal. Your size isn't that big either. Finally, they managed to restrain the enraged Titan skull. The Titan skull angrily took the telescope, breathed heavily with a crazy look, and continued to peek through the telescope. Blocked by the broken house. Can't see him anymore. He took my daughter to his home. I dare he. He angrily slapped the small mountain with his tentacles. Don't get excited. Listening is also fine. We're not here to fight. It's for gathering information, understand? The furious Titan skull calmed down, grinned fiercely with grinding teeth, picked up the hearing aids specially made for them by the Unicorn Demon tribe, and quickly received the sound coming from that direction. And soon, they received the sound signal from the direction of the Bloodsaw Pharmacy in the Ghost Lane. Really, is this necessary? Little sounded a bit confused and resistant. Don't worry, since it's a comprehensive service, all aspects must be considered. I am your doctor, so don't worry about anything bad happening. But there, it's deep. If I poke in all at once, it will be strange. Rest assured, it won't hurt much. My skills are good, and the last time wasn't too painful, right? Behind the hill, the Titan's head, covered in tentacles with hearing aids, was already trembling. Meanwhile, the Demon King and others, who used special means to receive sound signals, widened their eyes, held their breath, and couldn't utter a word. Something's not right. What's wrong? Why is the situation slowly developing in such a strange direction? It can't really be as they think, right? This is impossible. And it was at the next moment that a small voice finally came through the sound signals. Well, let's begin, if we must. Okay, I'm ready to start. Don't be nervous, take a deep breath, everyone has a first time. Ready. And at the next moment, a small scream suddenly came through. Doctor lied, it hurts a lot, deep inside. The Titan's head instantly split the nearby small hill into two with its tentacle, and flames of rage erupted from its head. Oh damn, the Titan's head was on the verge of losing control. The small hill was directly sent flying into the sky by him. Don't stop me. Let me kill him. That bastard deceived my daughter and did such a nasty thing. The Titan's head roared and charged forward. Behind him, the female headhunter used her tentacles to pull him back. Misunderstanding. It must be a misunderstanding. My daughter is like us, she has no body. The Titan's head slapped the ground with his tentacles and roared. Other places are even worse. At this moment, without exception, all elite guards, including the Demon King, felt an indescribable admiration for the human named Lin. A true warrior dares to face the bleakness of life. An even more formidable warrior dares to face the fundamental and stand tall. What kind of strength does it take to lure someone over with a letter, and then without saying a word, bring them to the backyard for some intense operations? This person is simply invincible. They trembled uncontrollably, eager to continue listening to the sequel. By the way, didn't it hurt? I'm quite skilled, right? Not painful, though strange, not really painful. That's good, let me take another look. Wait, it seems to be blocked inside. Little one, don't move. I'll take a careful look. Is it troublesome for you? Rest assured, I'll get a lamp and take a closer look. It's too deep, and I can't see clearly. Okay. Listening to the signals coming from there, the Demon King and others maintained an expression. And some even fell to the ground. Too strong, too strong. They seem to be having so much fun. Quite hardcore too. Can't listen anymore. Otherwise, they feel they'll become impure. This person is truly an all-around invincible existence. Now they finally understand why the big brother insisted on getting rid of that guy. This person played too much with his niece. In the backyard of the pharmacy, Lin forcefully opened the ear holes of the giant head, holding a lamp and peering inside carefully and curiously. Vaguely, he could see a lot of sticky foam, stained with ear stains, flowing out. I see it. Lin picked up the lamp and gave a thumbs up to the little one. It's indeed blocked, but don't worry. I have my special lubricant and foaming agent. A few stabs, and it'll be fine. Little one said, okay, thank you. Without further ado, Lin immediately picked up a brush and forcefully poked into the depths of the little one's ear, cleaning out the large clumps of dirt. It didn't take long at all, and all the clogs in the ear were cleared by Lin. Lin smiled. Now, do you feel more clear? The little one, amazed, listened to the distant sounds and said, I seem to be able to hear more things than before. Doctor, amazing. Lin raised his thumb, and a glint of light flashed across his teeth. He grinned and said, this is just the beginning. Other parts need care too. Only then can you be healthy. In the distant hill. Yeah, itchy. It's not good to touch the lower jaw casually. Cheekbones are sticking out. Dot on the face, foam and stuff, slippery. Does it have a beauty effect? Please make it even. Behind the hill, a group of unicorn demons guarded the equipment, listening forcibly to the increasingly strange and profound sounds coming from there. The enraged titan's head was firmly wrapped in place by the female headhunter's tentacles. His blocked mouth continued to emit angry roars, and his two eyeballs burned with hysterical anger, as if cracking open. The titan's head roared in anger. The female headhunter, stunned, covered half of her face with her tentacles, saying, my daughter has grown up. The nearby Demon King absent-mindedly nodded and murmured, actually, it took more than 2 hours. At this moment, his admiration for the youth named Lin had already become like surging river water, unstoppable. Like the yellow river flooding, it couldn't be contained. Really, he couldn't think of any adjectives to describe his feelings. Just a head and so many tricks. If there were still a body, that would be incredible. Special achievement, with a probability of gaining deep admiration and appreciation from a king-level entity. You have received permanent blessings, all attributes +10, charisma +1. Helping little one wash her face, Lin suddenly froze, looking around in confusion. A face full of bafflement. How did he get another strange achievement? I clearly didn't do anything here. Could it be that someone watched last night's video? Or maybe his critical potion received approval from some big shot. Well, this seems quite likely. After all, his potion is a unique and perfect creation by the system. A tall figure in a black robe slowly emerged from the black mist, appearing at the entrance of Ghost Lane. He squinted his eyes, and the mechanical structures on his cheekbones emitted a strange glow. Behind him, two massive flesh puppets slowly appeared, with giant pupils staring motionlessly at Ghost Lane, stopping behind him. Simultaneously, more and more spider-bodied hunters with human heads appeared. We have arrived. The mechanical demon squinted and said, after the end of the battle yesterday, he immediately mobilized a large number of forces from the Demon Association and came to this place at the fastest speed. Once again, the image of that human youth appeared in his mind. The guy who could integrate the cutting-edge biological weapon he developed into his own body. I hope you didn't escape. This time, he used his authority to summon two large flesh puppets type 3 at once, coupled with a large number of hunters. This level of configuration, even if encountered by a king-level entity, they would have to deter obediently. This time, he was absolutely confident. A cold smile appeared on his face. At the same time, in the backyard, Lin, who was happily wiping little one's face with a towel, suddenly received a system prompt in his ear. Lin's movements instantly stiffened in place, but he quickly recovered, his expression returning to calm rapidly. Triggered a mission. It seems to be exactly as he guessed. After experiencing 2 failed hunting attempts, the Demon Association finally decided to send a stronger entity to deal with him. And since the system has already issued the mission, it means that the crisis this time is imminent. And this mission, it's a bit outrageous. Has the standard for completing missions been lowered to this level? In his mind, there suddenly appeared an image of himself dressed in a decent suit, holding flowers, lying peacefully in a titanium alloy coffin. Outside, paper money fluttered and wreaths floated. A whole set of processes has been arranged. Lin bit his teeth instantly, his expression serious. But fortunately, thanks to his cleverness in inviting little one over with a letter last night, although the teacher did not come back, it was already close enough. Little one, are you hungry? Lin turned around and looked seriously at little one, who was being washed. Little one said, is it a big meal? I haven't eaten anything for 3 days. Lin seriously raised his thumb, smiling, rest assured. I've ordered takeout. Definitely a feast among feasts. I guarantee you'll be full this time. Ghost Lane, the street outside the pharmacy. The rolling black fog continuously dissipated to both sides, and the mechanical demon, with a gloomy look, walked out step by step from the black mist. Behind him were 2 huge flesh puppets and countless hunters. Stop. He suddenly stretched out his hand, stopping the large force behind him. His gaze instantly fell on the young man slowly emerging on the street. Dressed in linen, arms crossed, a slight curve on his face, a mysterious smile in his eyes, Lin stood quietly there facing the large force of the mechanical demon. The mechanical demon squinted instantly. He almost recognized the young man with a single glance, the guy who had scrapped one of his hunters last night. He didn't actually escape, and he stood there so arrogantly. What the hell is going on? Welcome, everyone. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Lin smiled, bowed slightly to the large force of the mechanical demon. At the same time, in the field of view, the residents who dared not go out immediately were attracted by this new message. Almost in an instant, the number of people who clicked exceeded 2,000. And in the video, accompanied by the slow dissipation of the black fog, the confrontation scene in front of the Bloodsaw Pharmacy's gate, with both sides, immediately appeared in front of all viewers. After seeing that scene, all viewers were shocked. Demon Association. Yes, I recognize the symbols on their bodies. All of them are flesh weapons belonging to the Demon Association. So what's going on? Why did the Demon Association send so many biological weapons to our Ghost Lane? Did you forget? In the 2 battles last night and the night before, one of the participating parties was those biological puppets of the Demon Association. Viewers were shocked by the dense and numerous hunters in the video. And then, their gaze fell on Lin's face, who was facing those hunters with a smile. That kid, yes, the unscrupulous apprentice from the Bloodsaw Pharmacy. What is he doing? Overestimating his abilities. Isn't this a bit too much? Did you forget? The participant in the battle last night was the apprentice from the pharmacy. Obviously, the Demon Association came for him this time. But won't he alone deal with this entire army of creatures? Isn't this a joke? But for some reason, he looks handsome standing there. Handsome +1. Viewers in the video were shocked and enthusiastic in their discussions. Outside Ghost Lane, behind the broken hill, the massive titan head, holding a telescope with its tentacles, watched the confrontation happening on the street at this moment. The Demon King, looking into the distance, said, it seems to be biological weapons from the Demon Association. The scale is not small, and it seems like they are causing trouble for that human guy. He was about to contemplate, but at this moment, he suddenly froze. Wait a minute. Could it be that the human guy deceived little one just to deal with these weapons from the Demon Association? Could it be that the so-called big meal in his letter is actually? And at the next moment, he immediately saw little one, who was currently crouching in the backyard of the pharmacy, curiously showing a pair of huge eyes, looking at the hunters on the street. Seeing her saliva dripping and the eager eyes of, the sound of swallowing and lip-licking could be heard. Sure enough. It seems you're aware that we would come. The mechanical demon squinted its eyes and decided to probe. Calmly, Lin crossed his arms and replied, of course, after all, you lost a flesh puppet and 3 hunters here. Unless your mage association backs down, you won't give up easily. The mechanical demon sneered, you're quite brave, huh? Why not run for your life if you knew we were coming? Do you think you can defeat us? No assurance whatsoever. The mechanical demon sneered again. Oh, then I'm curious. Since you have no assurance, why are you here? A gentle breeze blew through the black mist, ruffling Lin's hair. He said with profound meaning, no reason, just showing off. The wind lifted dust from the ground. The mechanical demon was stunned for a moment, opened its mouth, seeming like it wanted to say something, but found itself at a loss for words. This seemed to have touched upon his blind spot of thinking. This person, he didn't seem normal, and at the same time, in the viewer's sight, the initially shocked and eagerly discussing spectators fell into an eerie silence. Because my teacher once told me, if you encounter a sure-win situation and still hesitate and ponder, that's just too devalued. Since you have 3 aces in your hand, why not play them out against your opponent? How can you justify your good hand if you don't reveal it card by card? How can you justify? All viewers in the scene were stunned. For some reason, they were speechless for a while. This person seems a bit abnormal. If he says he's not sick, who would believe it? He's too arrogant. Why can he say such arrogant words in front of a group of tigers? This guy with no sense of pride dare to act so pretentious in front of me. Do you think you're capable now? The mechanical demon gritted its teeth, its expression turning ferocious with anger. Who is he? He is the vice president of the Mage Association, the top mage who has researched countless cutting-edge bioweapons. And this guy with no sense of pride dared to show off in front of him. He looked like a person with no intelligence. This guy had to die. Kill him. The mechanical demon roared in anger, giving the order in an instant. The countless hunters behind him suddenly raised their heads, rushing towards Lin at an unimaginable speed. The pupils of the two huge flesh puppets beside him focused in an instant. You think your pretense can save your life? The mechanical demon exploded in an uproar of electricity, saying, "My flesh puppet type 3 is the best war weapon in this world. Even if the blood spirit demon comes, so what? Even if a king level comes, so what?" He roared, exploding with rolling electric currents, saying, "Even if a root level comes, so what?" His thunderous voice echoed through the entire soul-wandering alley. Boom! A loud noise. Almost as he finished shouting, a massive head fell from the sky, landing on one of the nearly charging flesh puppets. Thump! A large amount of rotten flesh and blood spurted out from below the head. An eyeball, still emitting a red light, rolled towards the mechanical demon's feet. The whole scene fell into silence. The mechanical demon still maintained its posture from earlier, mouth wide open, frozen in place. The eyeball, rolling under his feet, was still emitting hot steam towards him. A root-level aura emanated from the massive head, shrouding the entire street. And his echoing arrogant words from earlier still lingered throughout the soul-wandering alley. Even if a root level comes, so what? Lin rubbed his ears, raised an eyebrow curiously, and said, "I didn't hear clearly, what did you just say?" And then, in an instant, the screen displayed the huge, white, saliva-dripping head. Instantly, everyone watching the live stream screamed in terror. Even the screen visibly trembled, rapidly distancing itself at an unimaginable speed, afraid to get closer. It's the root headhunter from before. It's that root-level monster. Are you kidding me? It can't be possible. Could it be that the monster in the Soul Alley wasn't here for slaughter, but was invited by that guy Lin? How is that even possible? Milestone achievement, obtained when over 1,000 creatures fear you. You successfully took a solid step towards terrifying the indescribable demons once again, gaining a permanent buff, all attributes +5, monster fear +1, happiness +10. Lin listened bewilderedly to the system prompts in his ears. Small extended its long tongue, licking its lips eagerly. This is, take out, so much, rich meat, can't resist anymore. Don't worry, small, no one will compete with you, they are all yours. Stiff and trembling, the machina demon stared at the head that had descended before the human. Root level. How is this possible? He took terrified steps backward, trembling uncontrollably. Lin slowly approached, picking up the eyeballs of the two flesh puppets from the ground. Holding them in his hands, he stared at the machina demon and said, "Since you called for help, I couldn't just stand by without preparation. If I didn't have some assurance, would I be standing in front of you so boldly?" Special achievement has a chance to be obtained when successfully intimidating a target stronger than yourself with powerful assistance. You gain a permanent layer, intelligence +3, fame +5. Trembling, the machina demon stepped backward, looking at the gigantic root headhunter, the twitching flesh puppet, and its broken hand. In his ears, the urgent warning from another flesh puppet continued. Target analysis. Root level. Highest level warning. Unable to contend. Unable to devour. Battle success probability analysis. 0. Devour success rate analysis. 0. Suggest immediate escape. At that moment, the machina demon finally realized what was happening. He roared, turning around abruptly. Run! Almost instantly, the machina demon exhibited the fastest reaction speed of his life. He turned around at an unimaginable speed, speeding away in the direction he came like the wind. Seeing this, Lin grinned and said, Small, it's up to you now. Feast to your heart's content. If you're still not full, I'll take you to their lair to eat." In an instant, Small happily opened its mouth, numerous tentacles rushing towards the fleeing hunters on the street. Swirling around them, it crunched, the taste of chicken, crispy and meaty. So delicious. Besides the meaty aroma, there's also the chewiness of metal. So tasty. Small expressed its joy. For a moment, the entire Soul Alley became a paradise for diners. One by one, the hunters howled in chaos. Some of the hunters who dared to attack rushed forward, one slashing at Small's nose, shattering the blade. Crunch. Small joyfully rolled up one after another, tasting each one. It had to eat them all. There couldn't be any waste, truly. It was so happy. Previously, besides the single-horned uncle, no one had treated small like this. In their field of vision, witnessing this reverse situation, all the viewers were astonished. As expected, that root headhunter was summoned by Lin. I can't believe, in my lifetime, I can actually witness the feeding scene of a root-level monster. I've made progress. It's just like eating small chickens. Wait a minute. Do you guys remember a while ago, 3 headhunters ate many creatures in our area, but they didn't touch our soul alley? Could it be that it's because we have that apprentice? This statement shocked all the residents of Soul Alley. That's right. With this statement, they suddenly understood. No wonder. In other words, if it weren't for that young man named Lin, they probably would have. And in the next moment, when their gaze fell back on the screen, they were instantly shocked. In the scene, the gigantic root headhunter suddenly extended a tentacle, then lifted Lin by his waist, placing him on top of its head, and started hopping towards the escaping prey. Oh my god, no way. That root-level headhunter actually voluntarily let him ride on it. What is their relationship? This relationship cannot be just a simple acquaintance. It's unbelievable. He seems to be the first human ever to dare to ride on the head of a root-level monster. Root Rider. Seeing this horrifying scene, everyone trembled to the point of breaking, because this was truly beyond their comprehension. It was like a world-famous Lolita queen suddenly coming to this remote and desolate place, then saying to the ordinary foolish son next door, "Come, ride on me." No matter how you thought about it, it was a terrifying scene that shattered 3 perspectives. Ding. You triggered the epic level achievement, Root Knight. You gained basic experience 1000. Root Knight, an epic surreal achievement. Obtainable difficulty is the same as other epic achievements such as Root Companion and Root Whipper, only surpassed by the hellish difficulty of Root Rider and Root Baby. Ding. Congratulations. You gained a permanent epic level upgrade, plus 50 speed when riding a root level monster, plus 10 stamina, plus 50 accuracy, plus 10 charm. Riding swiftly in the wind. System notifications kept chiming in Lin's ears. Lin tightly grabbed Little's hair, preventing her from falling off, and exclaimed, "System, this achievement is outrageous. You've gone too far. This was clearly a normal friendship. How could it be called Root Knight? Besides, they were good friends, so riding together wasn't a big deal. Little, chase in that direction. More prey is running that way. Eat to your heart's content, I'll assist," Lin shouted. Without hesitation, he pulled out his revolver, released the safety, and aimed at a hunter's head in the distance. Bang! Ding! You hit a hunter. Your firearm proficiency +1. The hunter hit by the magic bullet froze in place, surrounded by the sacred electric current. Then Little extended her tongue and rolled it over, swallowing it. Crunch, 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 crunchy and delicious, and still alive. For Little, it was a delightful feast. Ding! You hit a hunter. Your firearm proficiency +1. Crunch! Little joyfully ate a hunter. Your favorability with her +10. This terrifying hunt shocked all the creatures passing through Wandering Soul Alley. Groups of hunters ran in panic, with gunshots echoing behind them. Then, a gigantic skull, carrying a trigger-happy human teenager, leaped out of the black fog. Under their astonished gaze, they soared over their heads. Lin gritted his teeth, fired his gun, and grabbed Little's hair, sparks flying as they drifted to pursue. In the swift wind, with sparks of electricity, bang, 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 assisted by Lin's accurate gunfire, one hunter after another became Little's chewable delights. "Little, are you full?" Lin yelled while shooting. "Not yet." Little licked her tongue, jumped from the sky, and into the air. "Then, let's go after the big one," Lin roared, shooting rapidly into the sky. "Okay," Little said. Boom. The massive skull suddenly landed and sped towards the direction where the mechanoid was fleeing. What the hell? What kind of dimensional joke is this? In his half-mechanical eye, connected to the hundreds of hunters he brought, less than half remained at this moment. Less than 10 minutes had passed. Root level. Their entire association didn't have a single root level. Why did they casually encounter one in this remote place? A howling wind rushed into his terrified gums as he swung his hands, his speed almost reaching its limit. Ding! Mechanoid's fear level towards you +10. He trembled, pressing the mechanical structure on his left face. You are establishing contact with the association. Waiting. Signal delay. You've successfully established contact with the association. Soon, a hoarse voice came from the association. "Speak, Lord Mechanoid. This is the association's number 5 unit, following your orders." The Mechanoid, in horror, immediately shouted loudly, "Quick! Don't delay. Immediately locate my position. Activate the void jump device." Immediately. But he hadn't finished the second half of Jump Me Away when Bang! A bullet instantly shot from behind him. With the blessing of the epic level achievement and the mechanoid caught off guard, the bullet hit him, smashing his right mechanical structure into pieces. Not good, he yelled in horror, but it was too late. Following the bullet, a long tentacle struck him like a massive club. In his desperate scream, his body flew horizontally, and the mechanical structure on his left face shattered in the massive blow. They were catching up. They were coming. He abruptly turned his head, gazing in terror at the human teenager shooting wildly on the root-level skull. Without saying a word, he immediately increased his speed, fleeing frantically. Hey. He vigorously patted the mechanical structure on his left face, only to discover in horror that, due to the impact just now, the communication device connecting him to the association had been stripped from his left face. Lin, riding little, heard the voice coming from behind and immediately turned his head, locking onto a shimmering blue light mechanical structure dancing in the air. What's this? Lin quickly split a tentacle from his body, pulling the mechanical structure towards him. Ding! You obtained communication device 325 model. Lin was stunned. Then he quickly heard the urgent voice coming from inside. He immediately pressed it to his ear and listened carefully. Soon he understood the meaning. A friendly smile appeared on his face. So, the mechanoid wanted to escape using some kind of remote teleportation method. Since it fell into my hands, Lin quickly used flesh catastrophe to modify his vocal organs, imitating the mechanoid's voice, and shouted into the communicator, requesting support. Support. I need a large military force to besiege the target. I'll say it again, locate my coordinates. Requesting massive military support. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and enable notifications so you don't miss the next chapter.